Well, that's too bad. It seems like all this global reach, we could
Let me try
get
and get
somebody
this
to talk.
running. Google Hangouts code. And welcome to Anonymous Bites Back, episode 48. This is your host, Tyler, and as you can see in the picture, got a small
Lean
crowd.
show tonight.
Oh, mean show tonight. So, I guess if the show kind of goes slow tonight, I do have a feature film or documentary I might play later tonight. So just lo and behold, we'll just keep my eyes out. But this might be an early show. So anyway, we had some stuff we wanted to talk about. What was the first one you wanted to talk about, Preston?
Islamic expansion in Philippines. ISIS taking over Marawi, Philippines, raising the ISIS flag over the city.
Oh yeah. And the
Yeah.
Philippines. They've been. I remember. God, it was like 2 or 3 years ago. I was hearing about. Them training. They were testing out some kind of bomb to see if they could walk onto airplanes. I believe with explosive devices, and they were testing it out in the Philippines. Am I right?
With that, they go through the screening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was part of a recent leak too, that they allegedly mastered how to do that. But nothing's happened as of yet.
Oh, gotcha.
That could have been a. I mean, they have standard terrorist warnings like that all the time, in a way that they're trying to sneak through some in an electronic device or whatever. But just doesn't seem like you could pull that off. If you got any kind of decent amount of explosives, they're going to sniff it out somehow or see it.
Yeah, true that.
On an amount that's going to do any kind of real damage.
Hey guys.
Hey, Loki.
Loki.
We talking about the Philippines?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. My military contact told me that there was already an Islamic extremist group active there for quite some time, but they linked up with ISIS, and now it's getting really bad.
Yeah, they're flying foreign fighters in to help them out.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. He said if you're a tourist too, you have to worry about being in crowded places because of possible bombings, but also if you're in more secluded places, they're kidnapping people. So I really don't know what the solution is there.
Well, I also been hearing the residents in that city have been fleeing because they're getting freaked out about seeing ISIS everywhere. So if they say that there's civilians there, a lot of them have bailed from that city.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I'm sure that's probably what would happen here too. If they're not allowed to have weapons over there.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, they're not allowed to have firearms, I don't think. So they can't even defend themselves.
But
so that's pretty bad.
Well, yeah, he I believe it would do. I can't never say his name right. It's Duarte, whatever his name is. Duarte. There you go. Yeah, he put a martial law in effect for 60 days, which he can do by the Philippines Constitution. But he was talking about possibly making a martial law in the area for more than for a year. But he said in a press conference that he hopes it only takes a month. But I don't know.
I'm curious to see how that works out. I mean, given the circumstances, I'm not entirely opposed to it, although it infringes on the citizens' rights and stuff like that. But if that helps snuff out the bad guys, then
yeah, I mean, he's always been a very controversial, he's been very controversial from the start. Yeah, with his war on drugs, and when he meant war, he literally meant a war with drug lords.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And but I don't know. I get from what I've been hearing is that he has a lot of popularity over there. you know. But
Yeah, if you're at the same time cleaning up, criminals, uh, and corruption, then they'll be for you as long as that's going on along with it. Um,
As long as
this,
you're not stepping
however,
on people's rights, once your rights and freedoms start getting taken away, you start losing popularity.
yeah,
yeah, yeah. But this other part, now see if they were all armed, they wouldn't need the army down there. Now they got to stick the Filipino army down there and go to war with these people because you take everybody's weapons away. This is what happens. They're refugees now. They're moving out, so you got to move your army in.
I'm gonna have to see if I can find some contacts a little bit closer to that island. I know a few people from the Philippines.
well, we do actually have one in the chat, but they got a street operation going on right now. So I think it's midday there now. Should be.
So what kind of street operation?
I think it was helping kids get stuff for school and
Nice.
feeding the homeless.
Yeah, it's good to see a lot of anonymous, people do that. It seems like we have a lot of really good efforts, like Safe Winter and stuff like that. But it's nice to see people actually out there getting involved with their communities and helping out.
Yeah, and I'll put up their web link soon if I can find it in my thing. But they always need help and support because a lot of it's coming out of their own pockets, and they've been asking for financial support for a while, but if it's on donations, that's just the way that things go, sometimes.
Well, hell, feeding the homeless now will get you put in jail too, the way things are going. So
Oh
certain places.
yeah.
it used to be a nice thing to do. Now it'll get you arrested.
Well,
Yeah, Florida's really bad about that. There's a few other places, which is pretty messed up. I mean, they're just gonna let them starve and die, or what?
Well, essentially, the system won't take care of them.
Do that here in
So,
San Diego.
it comes back down to the citizens helping fellow citizens, and now there are laws, telling you that you can't even do that.
Yeah, I know Florida, you get thrown in jail for feeding homeless people.
I know a lot of missions and churches that try to do a good job. There's a big one in my city, a huge one. They built a facility, and I even got offered to work there at one point, but it was faith based. It was more faith based than it was psychotherapy, and I kind of backed down because I don't know. I just couldn't affiliate the one with the other.
Right.
But they have a 350 bed facility, and they're in the heart of the city, and they always say they're already filled up by the first hour when they open up their doors.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
350 beds filled up in the first hour.
something like that. Yeah.
That's pretty bad. I was just over in Salt Lake City for a minute. That place has the biggest homeless problem I've seen anywhere in my life. I've been all over Seattle and Portland. Used to be pretty big, but
Well, usually in the summer months, they're not as full. But you get towards the winter, you start getting towards the colder months. And they can't take it out in the cold. They usually go back to the missions. So.
Well, Salt Lake City, that's weird because they got all the Mormons up there. You'd think they'd be
that's exactly
helping
what
them
I
out.
thought too. That's exactly what I thought. But there was probably at least a couple hundred people just right on the sidewalks, like with tents, and it was huge. I've never seen anything like it.
Youth?
Huge. No, it was huge. All different ages.
Oh, huge. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you ever seen OC? OC in LA has always been bad. There's a Skid Row down in LA, and then OC is starting to have the same problem. Mostly in anybody who's lived there will know what it all stems from. But a lot of it was revolving around why it's overgrown was not because there was a lack of jobs. There's a big um, um, a lot of them were just kids that got stranded there, or didn't somehow messed up in their rehabilitation. There's a lot of rehabs out there in OC, and no, I don't. That's just one part of a bigger problem, but yeah,
Right.
it's pretty bad out in OC.
Portland, Oregon was kind of a mecca for homeless people. It's really easy to be homeless there. But I think that might almost go hand in hand with it's the heroin capital of the Northwest. I think it's really abundantly clean there. So there's a lot of drug addicted homeless. But Portland's giving them all free bus tickets to go to Seattle or wherever now. They're just shipping them off. So
Really.
that's yeah. Yep, there's a new program they have that's kind of controversial too because a lot of these people are ending up, smaller places. They get sent to like Seattle and they go to the surrounding areas and
They're like, yeah, you could be homeless, just not here, right?
yeah, they'll give them a free one-way bus ticket. I'm not sure exactly how the program works. They have to, but yeah, just ship them out. Somebody else's problem.
Yeah, I think they were doing the same thing in L.A. and they got caught doing it, and the police were, just snatching them up and telling them to, drive them outside the city limits, and they got caught doing it and got in some trouble.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the like Portland government over there or a church. I think it's got something to do with the city government over there that's sending them all out. And they haven't gotten any trouble yet. We'll see how that goes.
Well, I know in where was it? I think was it where they made it illegal to be home, to sleep or camp on the street. Where the fuck was that?
A lot of
Yeah.
places like
Yeah, and then it boils down to if you lose your job and you lose everything, then you're sleeping in the streets, and therefore it's illegal to be homeless. You know,
yep.
that
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
that doesn't make a hell of a lot of
Portland.
sense.
Sleep right on the sidewalks in Portland and be perfectly fine. A lot of other places you kind of have to go off and find some places to hide and sleep in. Seattle actually the tent city where they're actually building structures and have working showers and stuff like that. They try to keep those things relatively clean.
I knew some people that came out of here. They went from Texas to California because they had a real scheme to it. There was enough. They could get enough freebie food at the food banks and then the handouts, and they can actually. I'm not saying like make a living out there, but you can actually get along pretty good uh, in California, compared to here.
That's how
Uh,
Portland, Oregon is too, though. I
yeah,
mean, you can eat well every day and then make a good amount of money panhandling and food stamps and all that stuff. I mean, you could just run around all day and do whatever you want and still be all right.
yeah. It's not like they had a lot of money, but at the same time, it's like, man, they were out in a picturesque area out there, even near Malibu. And I was like, wow, man, it's
What's been going on in the rest of the world? I've been working. Anybody been paying attention to world issues?
Not in the last day or so. There was a lot of stuff that I was dealing with yesterday and the day before.
Yeah, I know North Korea is still up and at it.
yeah, that really dropped off once the Manchester thing happened. North Korea really dropped to the wayside. I hear shit about that.
they're talking about developing or not developing. They're already developed medium range missiles, but they're talking about developing them a lot faster right now. They could like reach Japan, I guess. So they're still pushing forward. I don't know why anybody hasn't done anything to stop them yet.
I mean,
I mean,
when you're dealing with North Korea, I mean, that's like one of those ones where you just don't want to play with those numbers that Kim might actually have the real deal, you know?
and if he doesn't, he's working towards it as fast as he can.
Yeah. I think it was verified that the last detonation test was hydrogen bomb, not anything plutonium though. But you never know.
That's still pretty destructive.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that guy is crazy. You got to wonder where his head's at too. I mean, his grandfather was in power, and then his dad, and they're total dictators. So he's like third generation, like God over there, basically. I mean, I don't think he's really connected, like grounded, like a normal person. I think he thinks that he's something else.
Hey, he likes Dennis Rodman in American basketball. I mean, he went to a Swiss college.
That's what I was gonna say. I think he was educated.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I think he was educated outside of Korea.
So, I mean, of anybody in North Korea, I mean, he's at least a little bit of well-rounded. He might still be crazy, don't get me wrong.
I'm sure he was well guarded while he was over in Switzerland. But they kind of
Yeah.
kept him to himself as much as possible. I
But
wouldn't see him.
who is exactly is setting up this hereditary monarchy in North Korea now? What are we establishing here? I mean, why would the Chinese even want that? I don't get it.
I have no idea. I mean, it's historically the way people have been. You got Egypt and England and all that crap, and those monarchies went on forever and ever. So, I mean, Rome, it's hard to say. It's just a different political
Another
structure, I guess.
hereditary communist monarchy. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, it doesn't even look like the Chinese model. That's what I'm getting at. It's not even a Chinese communist model that it still has a president and these figureheads and everything.
It's more like I shut you off from the rest of the world and I rule everything.
Yeah, authoritarian dark age over here.
Yeah, it's insane. The world's insane.
Well, the guy ought to be getting a green award. I mean, he's not putting out any CO2 over there. You don't have any lights, cars to speak of. I mean, you're not blowing out any CO2 and burning any, fossil fuels. I mean, he ought to be getting a green award for that.
Their biggest export's coal.
I thought it was opium.
No, opium might be right up there with it, but I think their main legal export is coal.
Coal.
Oh, because
wow.
I thought they ship out their opium to the Chinese.
They ship out their coal to the Chinese. China turned back like a whole fleet of boats with coal not too long ago. Actually, when they were all up on the border of South Korea getting ready to fight just in case.
Yeah, even their internet's strange. There's only like 28 domains or something like that, and then they have like they have like a version of Facebook or something. Remember, some kid hacked it, like, and just press admin, and he got in.
Yeah, I remember.
What social network is this? I just popped in the call here.
The North Korean version of Facebook. Remember when they tried? You heard about that? There was some kid that tried admin, and he got in and could see all sorts of weird functionality of what.
No, I did not hear about this. But what kind of social network administrator makes the login admin and sends that shit live?
We're talking about North Korea, and their internet seems pretty limited.
Apparently, their minds are too. If your best login credentials as admin.
Now that goes back to
It's
the
like,
like the old Enigma machines that the Germans had in World War II. You know, you could change your passwords and all, but people would almost, you know, at a pretty high percentage choose Hitler as the password for the Enigma machine. So it's like, you know, it's like what the fuck? It was easy to decode. You just throw that in the mix every so often. It's like, oh, okay, there we go. And it's, I mean, people, you know, they don't use their head. They use something easy, you know, that everybody can remember. It's kind of silly. It's
well, I mean, that's like all these people that get their home camera systems and everything and set it up so that they can put it on the network and like view it over their smartphone.
But everybody else can see it.
Oh, all these guys, it's just like they don't change the default password. It's like 1 2 3 4 5. Like, okay. I mean, I've been on looking for just random closed circuit cameras and
Oh, from Shodan.
hold on one sec. But yeah, I mean, like just straight into people's houses. Like it's people don't think about stuff like that at all.
not too savvy.
People just whatever's easy to remember. I think most people don't really think that they're gonna get hacked or think that they have anything to worry about. And I keep telling people, like my mom, she's like, I don't do anything. I don't have anything to worry about. And have, probably a lot of personal stuff like credit card information and all that on your computer. Once you're hacked, you're hacked. People can get a lot of information.
Oh, well, all it takes is one entry point into any network, and from there, I mean, you can do about anything you want if you have the knowledge, like, slowly escalating privileges along the way. You just need that one little entry point and it's over with. Like, you can ruin an entire company, a person's entire life, all
Yeah.
because their password was password with a capital P.
What is it? What was
Maybe
that? What is that?
maybe a 4 for the A.
Yeah, one of the 1.2 million. What is it? What is that? The common password list.
Oh yeah,
Oh no! I know. I used to should know. Rock you. The Rock You password list.
What's that?
Oh, it's just a list of the most commonly used passwords. There's a bunch in it.
I mean, you'd be surprised what you can get with that.
Have any of you guys been following this Blue Whale game?
Yes and no. So
I'll tell you this: it looks like it's coming to America. I've seen quite a lot of like UK, Australian, and US accounts on Twitter throwing that hashtag up there, like curator find me and the hashtag F and whatever the fucking numbers are and shit.
F-57, F-58, yeah, carving it into your thing, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been in America for a while, but I think it originated from Russia, and they're using it's like a Facebook, but it's called VK.
Yeah, I'm on VK. Yeah.
How's that work?
VK it's limited though. I mean, I've been playing around with it for a couple of weeks. Damn it, I deleted the whole fucking thing. Well, I did have it on the application. I did have it also on the thing, but it has like the basic functions of Facebook. I didn't see any live or video or any plugins like that. You can post pictures and say stuff, and there's groups. But making a new account is easy peasy. All you need is like an email.
Say stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say all you need is an email.
It sounds so exciting when you put it like that.
Uh, I mean, it's pretty basic, but always room for
So-
improvement.
we have
So is it in Russian language or English?
So you have actually, surprisingly, there's people, with English accounts, Russian accounts. I didn't see any other languages that I could recognize, but then again, I don't speak Russian.
well, you can always get most of that stuff translated, though.
Yeah, Google Translate does a pretty good job of at least allowing communication. And if you can like pick up on the major differences in grammar and learn to correct from there, like you'll go far.
Yeah.
So we have
Go ahead.
Pink Dolphin,
Yes.
which is a counter to Blue Whale, which is doing pretty good. Pink Dolphin's actually cool too. I didn't even know they existed, but they I think they hunt a shark or they hunt whales or something, but it's like a dolphin that hunts
Yeah, I
something.
do believe the article I saw going around said that they hunted whales, which is kind of funny.
And we have a couple teams working on it. There's a team working with the kids that we're bringing from Blue Whale, and then we have another team that's going after Blue Whale curators. And I think the best we've been able to do so far though is get some accounts taken down. Like you would think there would be some arrests. If people are encouraging other people to hurt and kill themselves, and they can be identified, you would think they would be arrested instead of just their account shut down. So, I mean, we're making a little bit of progress. We're maybe saving some lives and doing our best to help. But
There we go. I type in Blue Whale in VK and a bunch of stuff comes up.
what you got?
Let me see. There's always this one that shows up in St. Petersburg, but see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 profiles. Show all 602. Jesus Christ.
Is that all curators? That can't be.
No.
It's just hits.
Yeah.
All right.
There's anti-Blue Whale. There we go. Closed group. Blue
Ooh,
Whale.
you gotta hook me up with those guys so I can hook them up with our guys. DM me the link to that.
All right.
Yeah, it sounds like it's bigger on Twitter at this point than it is
on
the
VK.
network where it started.
It's all over the place. It's on all different types of social media.
Oh yeah, when they type in blue Blue Whale, come find me.
Yep.
Yeah. Or curator, come find me.
Curator, find me.
Yeah.
Blue Whale Curator, F40, F57. They're changing these numbers up, I guess.
Yeah.
That's hard stuff to deal with though, because I mean it's kids that are doing this, and it's kids' lives that are at risk. I mean,
Well, basically, what it boils down to is not only trying to get the people to stop playing, or but also to educate the parents that this kind of stuff is around.
oh yeah, trying to work with schools and stuff like that as well. Giving schools the information that we have and the alternate, our guys and stuff, and just
This, at least on Twitter, it mostly seems to be like teenage girls.
Really.
I'm not seeing like it's all like they look like they're like 13 to 16.
Depressed, have a lot of issues, right?
Yeah.
Well, from what I've seen, it looks like a lot of little girls too, all around the board. So I guess maybe we should be looking a little bit deeper and trying to find why all these kids would want to hurt themselves.
Well, there's a bunch of issues. I mean, there's
Well, I mean
childhood trauma, molestation issues. Childhood drug addiction, um, um, depression. They're also hormonal. They're going through a lot of changes. Some people go through periods of depression during puberty. A lot of it's hormonal. Some people, young kids don't need to go where to fit in, and some people just can't handle it. I mean, how many suicides did you hear about when you were in high school? There's always that one, or you always hear about it here and there, but it's uh, I would say that they would be the probably young, anywhere between 13 and early 20s would be the prime suspect for this game.
yep.
Especially.
What kind of sick fucks would make a game like this and then direct these kids? I mean, how twisted do you have to be to sit there alive and, encourage other people to take their own lives? Like,
Well, like you say, you'd have to be pretty sick. I mean, there's no other way you're.
There seems to be a lot of them. I don't know.
Well,
I personally couldn't live with myself, if I'd done something like that to other people.
Well, I remember seeing an arrest from I think it was one of the curate. You hear about this? One of the
I haven't
curate. Yeah. He said he was linked to 14 deaths or 14 suicides, and he said that he felt happy that they had committed suicide because he was helping. He said he was setting them free and helping clear some fucking demented shit. Clearing the field, yeah.
It sounded along the lines of like purging weakness from humanity or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was I think that was the founder, or and one of the founders. But yeah, that's right. He was trying to weed the weak out, basically.
Shit, I'm gonna try to hop back in here in an hour, guys. I gotta take care of some family shit.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Peace, brother.
I will holler later.
All right,
Peace.
later. And then there were 3.
Yeah, it's been a busy couple days, huh?
Yeah. You're telling me about that. Yeah.
We got Kashmir episode next Thursday still, right?
Yeah. I was talking to one of them. We still need to get in contact with them a little bit more, but I think we're set in stone for Thursday. So
They wanted to plan it out a little bit.
yes,
So
yes, they did.
That's good. I mean, usually we're trying to spur of the moment, like.
Oh yeah, the last time. Yeah, I think that one guest we tried to get on before, but I think he's the same kid, and we couldn't get them on because in Kashmir they were limiting at least broadband that I was to 2G, right?
Yeah, he was down to 2G or something.
Yeah. All we heard was.
And then on top of that, the time zone difference is like it's what, like 3 or 4 in the morning over there when we're on.
Something like that.
Mm. Oh, I know we have a couple good guys that are there and doing stuff.
Now, how about Barrett Brown? Wasn't his probation over on the 25th, and then we could get him on again with the lawyer or by himself? What was the deal there? It was the 25th date that was
the
thrown around
25th
there.
is when his probation was actually talk with us without getting in trouble, because he's not supposed to talk with anybody that's anonymous affiliated.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him either. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest with you, I've been on the other end of the boat where I was on a joint suspended sentence after that big charge where I was going to do 13 years. So I got a slap on the wrist, but I got a joint suspended sentence. And there was a couple of times when I had fucked up on when I was released, and I had these weird conversations like with the people I cared about at the time, and like, how would you feel if I disappeared for 8 years? And they'll be like, what did you do? So I understand the mentality. It's like I kind of like being free, so like kind of let me be a good guy for a little bit, you know. But it happens.
Yeah, yeah. This country, here, the United States, seems to do a pretty good job of population of the system as possible, so they can hold stuff over people's heads.
Yeah,
So
that's what it is.
there
It's the whole idea to get the feed generation and get you in the system so that you can keep because they know you'll come back. They know what the recidivism rate is, and
Well, I believe
eh,
I think it's like 70% of people on probation or parole end up back in jail.
yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good deal if you look at it from their side. I
Well, not
mean,
only that, the hidden part of probation and parole is the costs and fees, and they always go for
yep,
it. Struggling to, I think, God, what was the number? I think the last time I got out, I owed. No, this wasn't the last time. The other time, I owed $5,000. Um, and they said it was for testing fees, and this and that. And I was like, what the fuck? And eventually, I had to make a plea bargain. I talked to a financial officer, and they lowered it down to because they kept on getting these letters that saying they're going to throw me back if I didn't pay up, and my pro officer said, don't worry about it. But still, there is that hidden aspect that they are making money off of you while you're outside.
Yeah, they're making a ton. You
Yeah,
got to go to classes. You got to pay for this. You got to pay for that. Court costs, fines.
well, yeah. I used to get a lot of people in my that used to come through my doors, and I used to tell them. I believe them too. And they used to come to me and they'd be like, "Oh man, I'm on parole or I'm on probation," and part of my stipulation was that uh, uh, I needed to take a drug and alcohol class, and they said that I don't need one, but and I would constantly tell them this, like, what, I totally believe you. Like some of them I did, like I really totally believe you. But I managed to work at one of those facilities where it was no pay for the clients at that point, and I'd be like, look, dude, but if you don't do this class, like there's a high probability that you're gonna end up back behind bars, and that's not a good place, you know. So
Sometimes you don't have the option. I mean, you got to take all these classes and pay all this money and stuff, and have time to find a regular job, like a full-time job, to pay for the classes and actually go to the classes. It's hard to get employed when you have to tell your employer, look, I have to go to, classes for driving or classes for drugs or whatever twice a week, or violence or whatever classes you have to take, however many times a week. You, it's hard to get a job where your employer is going to let you when you have to take these classes, and it's hard to come up with the money
well, yeah,
and the time for
well,
a
yeah,
lot
with
of
yeah,
people.
with DUI school, a lot of insurances won't cover it either. That's all out of pocket.
mm,
And I'm sure it's hard to find a job if you tell your prospective employer, I have DUI school or whatever once or twice. I have to be out for these hours and stuff like that. There's a lot of hoops you have to jump through, and some of it's impossible for people, depending on where you're at and what your perspectives are.
Yep.
Because employers, they don't want to hear that shit. They want to know when you're showing up and when you're leaving. They don't want to hear all this other stuff.
They just want you to pay.
Yeah.
Well, because all these good old boys and their families are in all these services that they're doing to you. That's the scheme. It's like creating a healthcare system. Now all of a sudden you got all the scumbags
out
and
of the
their
judicial
families,
field,
and now they're all healthcare management and managers and all this. What a bunch of crap.
Well, if they really cared about the crimes that people were committing, if they, I really don't even consider them crimes, or more mental issues that you're dealing with. If the system really cared about the health and well-being of the person who supposedly did this and that, and they actually need the care. Instead of sending them to jail, first option, the first option I would do is to, put them in a rehab with stipulations. And some judges do that, but a lot of them don't. Not unless you ask and fight for it.
Well, even then, forcing somebody to go to rehab or treatment rarely helps people.
That's true.
And the people who really want to get help, I mean, I had to wait for 2 months to get a bed when I was all messed up on drugs. I had to wait for 2 months for treatment, and got arrested 2 days before I was supposed to go to detox for residue on a knife that they had to test 3 times to get it to test positive for drugs. So instead of going to treatment like I'd been trying for 2 months, which is hard if you're a drug addict or whatever,
like dope fiend, yeah.
It's hard to go. It's hard to want to go to treatment, first of all, and then 2 months is a long time without falling back in the same routine. Trying to wean yourself off and be as straight as you can. So it's kind of messed up because the people that are being forced to go to treatment, that don't want to go to treatment and aren't going to change their lives, are taking up all these beds for the people that need treatment or want treatment and want to change their lives.
That's true.
Our system's pretty flawed all the way around. There's a way better way to do things.
Let's legalize it all.
Yeah, it's all unconstitutional. There's nothing in the Constitution that says anything about drugs, honestly.
You're right.
I mean, it's just not there.
That accounts for 2/3 of the prison population, though. So, we have to go back to. I can understand if you're stealing because of your drug use, or if you're, harming other people or whatever, but that's because of what you're doing. Not like you don't go to jail for drinking, right? Unless you're wasted out in public or doing something stupid. But more often than not, I don't know. It's frustrating. More often than not, you can be out there. It's perfectly legal to drink. You don't get in trouble. But if you make bad decisions while you're drunk, you get in trouble. And then you get, those are bad decisions that you made personally. So you should be held accountable for that. But with drugs, just possession of them, or using them without hurting other people, I don't know. I don't understand the way the system works. It's pretty sad. I mean, if alcohol is legal, then I guess everything else should be.
Well,
people are going to do what they're going to do anyways.
Well, pretty much. And compared to other drugs, alcohol has to be one of the most dangerous ones on your body, or one of the worst ones.
Absolutely, not just on your body, but on your mind.
And people, a lot of people underestimate, alcohol and alcohol addiction, but getting off of alcohol is one of those ones that could kill you. Same thing with benzodiazepines and barbiturates.
Yep. And alcohol, I'm pretty sure causes people to make some of the worst decisions ever. Like alcohol really, you black out, you get drunk and stupid and do really stupid things. That it doesn't seem like that happens that often with other drugs. I know meth users have a problem with stealing.
Paranoia, talking to things that ain't there, shadow people, shooting at things.
Yeah. And then, I don't know. There's a whole plethora of other ones. What I'd really like to see more often is tryptamines, hallucinogens, and it seems like those kind of died out.
Yes and no. I mean, an underground culture, yes, but there was a major crackdown. And what was her name? I talked about her on the other show. I fucking forgot her name. But her and her boyfriend and the other biochemist for like a 5-year period were making 98% of the world's LSD in
that was the Kansas
the Kansas
silo,
missile silo.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah. Yep.
What are the details on that?
I think one guy got 80 years. The other one got multiple. I think he got multiple life sentences. Girl, I don't think she did any time, but I do know that she has. She did at one point have. She wrote a book, and she also had her online TV YouTube channel. She had her own show. And she, basically, she was talking like a pro Terrence McKenna, like a lot of similar stuff to what Terrence McKenna was talking about. What's out there, what's like.
I strongly suggest for anybody out there listening, Food of the Gods. Book Terrence McKenna wrote, Food of the Gods, the original quest for the Tree of Knowledge is the full name.
That sounds familiar, yeah.
That's like a Bible. I mean, he talks about in depth about of man with drugs and how it affects or affected our culture, our religion, our art, our language, like absolutely every aspect. Like he even talked about coffee and chocolate, electronic drugs, like television. Internet would be applicable now. But that's a really, really good book.
Yeah, I was always a big fan of LSD, My Problem Child, by Dr. Hoffman. Oh man, yeah, this famous bicycle story and Pickle and Tickle and Isoquinol by Dr. Alexander and Ann Schlugen. Okay. Yep,
that's my hero. I love that guy.
Yeah, same here. He's from he lived in Rancho Cucamonga up until his death.
Yeah, for anybody listening, that guy. Okay, I believe it was the Germans that
the Germans invented what was known as methylene dioxymethylamphetamine, which is MDMA. And right. In the 1916, by some German scientists, but he is most commonly known as the father of MDMA. But what Dr. Alexander Schlugen was doing back in the day was not only was he creating new substance, he created about 300 different phenethylamines and tryptamines, manufacturing them. And not only was he inventing them or creating them, he was also testing them out on himself as well.
Right. And he was allowed to do this. He was allowed to do this because he resynthesized MDMA in the United States, and when it first came out, it was like a huge breakthrough for psychiatrists and stuff. Like it wasn't a really abused drug. Ecstasy, MDMA, whatever, wasn't a really abused drug, but psychiatrists were using it to treat their patients, and with like one treatment, like them dosing their patients and sitting and talking with them, their problems were like usually over after that. So the government gave him a 20-year license to build whatever drugs he wanted.
I thought, I was always under the impression, and this is really weird because Dr. Alexander Shulgin was always around the time when the 1976 Controlled Substance Abuse Act got really big, and the substances that he was inventing back in around that time frame, all of them became illegal. You know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, the DEA has a lot of these drugs on lockdown. So when they always say that these are in the gray area or that's in the gray area. What these new chemists have done is they created derivatives of the alkaloids and the salts that haven't been listed so far.
It's molecules that are based on other chemicals, but they're changed a little bit, like even by the atom, so they can't quite be scheduled yet.
Yeah.
Some of them are good and some of them aren't, like bath salts.
Well, yeah, beta
is one of
keto,
them.
yeah, beta ketones and derivatives of cathinones. Yep.
Then you have things like MXE. Like that's it's an analog of ketamine and PCP. And that's kind of in the gray zone, and that's a weird one.
There was another one that was coming out, and I'm glad it kind of never popped off. Is they were trying to make a longer acting phencyclidine, PCP, and
Right.
it's. I remember back in my using days seeing that it was still around even on this last relapse. So it's out there.
Well,
man.
they're always going to be coming out with new ones. Shogun's my favorite of his, though, that I've actually been blessed enough to try is some of his 2C series, like 2CB and 2CI and stuff like that. That's interesting, and I am a big advocate of tryptamines.
Well, I think when I was talking to another one of our guests, or one of our it's about my DOM experiment with LSD, and I'll tell you what, that's not something you would give somebody who's never done anything.
Well, there's a new one. It's been out for a few years now. God, I can't remember the name of it, but it's actually killing people.
What's that Flocka? What is that Flocka shit, man? It's
Flocka is a derivative of cathinone, and let me get you the actual chemical out there. It's not new. It was invented in the 1950s. Hold on, Flocka. It's actually it's a derivative of prolintane, which is a Flocka wiki. There we go. Yeah, prolintane is the backbone of a lot of these cathinones, but prolintane is a synthetic cathinone. It doesn't come from the actual plant. So yeah, it's a pyrovalerone. Yeah, ketone analog of prolintane. Yep.
The one I'm talking about is people are trying to pass it off as LSD, but it's a lot stronger, and people are actually dying from it.
It could be from alpha methyltryptamine or whatever. There's a bunch of derivatives and analogs out there. So, who knows? Yada yada yada.
There's been some university studies for psilocybin, which is a tryptamine, and I think it kind of falls into the same category as like LSD and any
Yep.
other tryptamine. But there's been a study that I'm kind of glad that I actually did this study because I've felt this way and been telling people this the whole time. Is it helps rewire your brain. So
In
say
Go ahead.
when you snap a finger, the way I imagine it is, you have four neurons and they make a connection and your brain says snap the finger. When you're on a tryptamine, you're thinking a little bit faster. And maybe it'll take two or three neural connections instead of four, but it kind of rewires things so
So
you can make.
yeah, so you can smell, colors, taste, sounds, stuff like that.
But at the same time, it's rewiring your brain, the way your brain works, your neural connections and stuff like that, to be able to do these things faster. So it's a little bit quicker connection because I don't know. There's been some studies if people want to look it up. Psilocybin effects on the brain, university studies.
Well, there actually has an amazing, believe it or not, medical property to people who suffer from cluster headaches to the point where they have to be hospitalized, and one low dose, a microdose of psilocybin can keep somebody from getting the cluster headaches for up to 3 months.
That's
No,
funny.
that's weird.
I'm pretty sure where I'm from has the most types of psilocybin mushrooms and the most potent also in the world. Um, like some of the stuff we have is active at like a quarter gram, I think, where you start feeling it instead of an eighth of an ounce or whatever. Um, and I've never had migraines. I think I've had two migraines in my life, maybe. I don't get headaches ever.
Well, it got so bad. Like I knew this one person. I now know them in recovery, and for we were in our disease together, and they used to suffer from those kind of headaches to the point where they had to be hospitalized, and they tried everything from sumatriptan to max ALT. They tried beta blockers. Um, you name it, they tried it, and then eventually it got to the point where not only were the doctors giving them oxycodone, they were having the rebound effect from not having the oxycodone, which is also making the headaches come back.
Yep.
So I told them one day, like this is before they got clean, and then they still have the issues, but they're not as bad. But I kept on telling them, I was like, dude, why don't you just get like, just go get some shrooms, take a really low dose, and you'll be fine. No, 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 I don't want to do that. No, 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 no. I'm fine with the oxycodone. Okay, you know.
Yeah, those opiates are nasty. That was my problem most of my life was that crap, and that gets a hold on you pretty bad.
Well,
And
especially if you're suffering from cluster headaches and migraines, that when you don't get your dose, you're going to get that rebound effect from withdrawals, and you're going to get those headaches just as bad.
just as bad or amplified.
Yep.
That's a nasty one. I'm surprised the doctors push that as much as they do.
Well, I mean, does it have a place in the medical community? Absolutely. Should it be used as actually, you know what the medical community has done really washed up on that. They don't prescribe it as much as frequently as you would think. A lot of doctors now, because of the pill mills that were going around, and remember the pill mills that were going around. There were, you just go to a doctor.
Oh, yeah.
and they did a real crackdown on it to the point where doctors are afraid to even give patients this stuff.
But it's been used like for war forever, and actually, opiate addiction was,
It's
I believe,
started in
don't
the
quote
Civil
me on
War. Civil War.
it was
Morphine.
soldier's disease or something like that.
Yeah,
At
they
first, with
yeah.
morphine, it was called soldier's disease
Okay,
because they were coming back from the Civil War, all strung out and sick and not doing good. But it was going on well before then, with China and the British. The British brought it over to China, anyways. It's been a very well documented drug and documented addiction. And then, we have to thank Bear Aspirin for bringing heroin to the world. And then they just keep making more and more potent, nasty shit like fentanyl, and more addictive, more potent, more deadly.
yeah. Even some of the more deadly ones are hitting the streets. We got sufentanil or carfentanil, sorry, which a grain of sand is enough to kill an elephant. And guys are out there manufacturing this stuff, thinking that they can. I don't know. That's always one of those ones where I always think when you hear about it hitting the streets, you always wonder if it's
Yeah,
some sort of.
what the fuck do you want to kill your fucking? I mean, that's horrible business ethics. Like, why would you make something so potent that it's gonna drop an elephant? I don't understand that one at all.
That's why I always
There-
think. That's why I always think there's some sort of like sick, twisted individual out there, or some. Whenever you hear about carfentanil hitting the streets, you're always like, you know, uh, there's some sort of population control or something like that runs through my head. You know.
Almost like a serial killer too.
Yep. I mean, you could
It's
be
got-
you could be the worst junkie in the world, and you will not get it. You will that shit will fucking kill you.
We were talking about this a couple shows ago, where they're cutting heroin and making fake Xanax pills with fentanyl too. So why would you cut a potent drug with a more potent drug? It's not cost effective. Like,
Well, there was evidence. There was evidence. During the MDMA craze in the early 2000s. They were where kids were dropping like flies. There was a red Mitsubishis, but those weren't the ones that were thinking there was some sort of population control. That was just a bad batch. But there were evidence of people stamping high dose oxycodone in pills, and kids were dropping like flies. So
Don't put anything past this government
exactly.
and the people that bring this stuff in. I mean, they admit they're in control of it. They want to be in control of it so that they know what's going on.
Well, I mean,
Doesn't mean you know what's going on, so
Well,
that they know what's going on.
Well, I mean, with certain drugs, you always wonder, like, especially, since, cocaine is not even native to the U.S. You got to grow it in a tropic zone. There's it comes in large shipments. They ain't shipping it on, they ain't shipping it on, small cargoes. These things are coming in freights.
Yeah, if you look at the number of people in this country doing it and the amount they do, I mean, you literally need a cargo ship pulling in like once a day for all this stuff. I mean, it's that kind of amounts. I mean, it's not an accident.
yeah, it's definitely not an accident. Where I'm from, okay, like I said, the Northwest, whatever. Portland is the capital for opiates, like really, really pure heroin. It's really good quality. And then you go like 2 hours away, And when I was in the game, there was like 7 Mexicans in Tacoma that were supplying probably 2/3 of Washington State, and they would get it from Portland from their hookups, and then cut it immediately in half with sugar and coffee. So the stuff you got in 2/3 of shit. I mean, it was like maybe 30 or 40% pure.
Yeah.
And then Portland, you got like maybe 80% pure. But those 7 Mexicans in Tacoma were allowed to run 2/3 of the state, 2/3 of Washington State for years and years and years. You would think that police would be able to figure that out, at some point and be able to put some kind of a stop to it.
Well, even the local police, they're in on it too. So, it always boils down to, as long as you're not, your number's going to be up only when you become a problem or somebody asks. So everybody's in on it. Everybody's in on it.
Yeah, unless the shit you got is killing people, or you're going out there killing people,
Yeah.
then you don't get on the radar and you're okay.
Yeah.
Just don't get
That's why
crazy.
that's why I always say, the war on drugs is even coming from me being in recovery and working, trying to help people, straighten out their lives, when they want the help. It's always been very controversial, because we're dealing with a mental disorder, especially with hardcore drug addicts. And then B, you're also telling the people what they can and can't do. And then we got this shit running in the background where the people in charge of enforcing the laws all know it and are contributing to what's out there in the streets. So it's a joke. It's a sham.
Yeah, go along, make a little payoff.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. The 7 Mexicans in Tacoma that got busted about 6 years ago, maybe, and everything was dry for 2 days, and then there was other people right up there, I don't know. It's bad. Somebody's pulling some strings, and it's definitely our government. You can't bring that much drugs into the country to supply cities and stuff. You just can't bring it over the borders hidden in cars and stuff like that. It's a fucking joke.
That's why we got all these 18-wheelers.
Right.
I actually, I shit you not, dude. Like I was actually in a I don't know. I shouldn't even talk about that story. Let's just say that I accidentally got into a truck where a guy was actually holding a large amount, asking for a ride. Oh my god.
That
Yeah,
does
but
happen.
Yeah.
you have to kind of question what's a large amount, and then where did he get it? Like how the fuck did he get it? I know. There's a decent amount that's shipped through the borders and stuff like that illegally.
Well, he was over at a way station and he told me to get prepared to run out, and I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Dude, just if they start asking questions, just run."
That's kind of fucked up for him to pick you up.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Like, hey, buddy, hitchhiking, you need a ride? By the way, I got a trailer full of drugs.
Oh.
Yeah, people get behind on their bills, man. They'll do strange shit.
Yeah, it's, you know,
People do strange shit anyways.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it doesn't even. But for sure, by then they're thinking of other ways to get money.
yeah.
I did that stuff for quite a while. Uh, Sold drugs and did drugs and all that. I do have to say it's harder to work for my money and work to live than get caught up in that shit. But I feel a lot better about myself. You know, I'm not poisoning people. Nobody's dying because of me. I'm, I'm not hurting anybody. So it's kind of worth working a little bit harder or working like a normal person.
Or you could be, you know, I don't know. Like, yeah, that's a common problem, you know, here in the U.S. is that a lot of people can't even earn their own keep to keep a roof over their heads, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely hard to not turn to easier ways to generate revenue. You know, I mean, it's fuck, dude. I'm out like 10, 12 hours a day on a roof working my ass off. And I know I could be making the same amount of money just sitting at home and answering the phone and having people over or meeting people places. It's kind of a,
You know what as I do, though? You're paranoid as fuck the whole time. Right?
I'm paranoid as fuck all the time anyway.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? We got him. We got him.
uh, now you can be sober and deal with what the government's going to do to you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I
I've
mean,
already got the
which will
FBI here.
drive you right back to drugs. If you don't watch it.
Yeah, I've had the FBI here once for doing good things, you know. So
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, we played that on air when they were asking you to come down to a coffee shop and talk about things.
yeah, I recorded the call. I recorded the call and sent it out. And I dealt with them pretty good. I think I made them stutter. And
Yeah,
within
yeah,
like
we just want you to come down to a coffee shop and talk about things. Okay. And my lawyer be there? No, don't bring your lawyer.
yeah, well fuck those guys.
I think you asked to film them, right? That's the thing you wanted. And they didn't want that.
Yeah, I told them I was gonna be recording them, and oh, I got into it. I asked them to tell me their they showed up at my house while I was off at work, and my girlfriend at the time wouldn't tell them where I was working or anything like that. And so they left a number and wanted me to call them. I talked to some people first to, see people that have already dealt with feds to see how I should respond and stuff and hold of them. And I was asking the guy to tell me, because you take an oath when you're a fed or when you're a cop or when you're a firefighter or anything like that. You take an oath to the Constitution and to the people. And I was like, well, you took an oath, right? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, can you repeat that oath? Can you tell me what oath you took? Because I want to know who I'm dealing with is legitimate. And he started stuttering. And he's like, well, I don't have it right here in front of me. And yeah, so within I think it was about 8 minutes, 9 minutes, they really wanted to meet me and then wanted nothing at all to do with me. And I wasn't in any trouble, so they couldn't really do anything. I'm sure it'll probably come back on me at some point. But yeah, screw those guys. I know there is some good federal agents. There's some people you know, not to classify them as a federal agent, but there's some good people everywhere. I've met some good cops. I've met some good, you know, feds. I've met some good everybody, racists, you know, and I'm not a fan of racists at all. Nazis, white supremacists, black supremacists, Mexican supremacists, whatever. But there's some good people everywhere. And what I try to do is find the people that are open minded and talk with them and come to some kind of common ground and then be able to work with them from there. And that's kind of what we need to do as a whole species. We're way too divided over way too many stupid things. We need to come together and overlook each other's different points of view or ideologies that we don't agree with. We need to be able to come together as one people and work together as one people, common goals. And once those common goals are accomplished, then we can fight against each other and, you know, do our own thing. But right now, all we are is divided. In any group I've ever seen, people are infighting, people are hating each other, people are getting caught up in stupid bullshit instead of working towards what's important. And that really needs to stop. It's sickening and it's sad. You guys see that everywhere too, right?
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter what group it is. I mean, that's been true. I've noticed that my whole life, whether it's an engineering group or you know, if you bicycling group or whatever it is, it always, you know, you get into different factions or cliques, and everybody wants. Then you got others. Everybody wants to be a leader or something. You know, there's always something going on that breaks it up. Uh, but yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, those the patriot groups, militias, they're all the same, man. They're all having trouble. You guys, it's no different.
Yeah, it is no different. And when you're seeing the same common problems all over the place, it's gotta stop because we're just fucking wills. Otherwise, you know, there's no progress being made.
Yeah,
Nobody's
very
doing.
little. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a setback. It's a setback, and it has to stop, or we're not gonna get shit done. And the people in power that are pulling our strings.
Yeah, you know, at the same time, they're having troubles because as the word gets out, you know, the old narrative and the old state-run media, mainstream media is, you know, you can tell the narrative's breaking down. So they've got a real problem from here on out. You know, that's not saying they can't crank down like they're doing, but you know, it's just they have problems as well. You know, they can't get everybody together. Look at all the money George Soros throws around, and he still can't. You know, he can take over some countries that don't have many people, or you know, he still takes billions of dollars. But you know, if you're going to do that in America, man, I mean, you need serious armies of, and he can't get it done. He can't get it done either. That's my point. Not like they want.
Yeah, but it feels like they're winning, and it feels like it's because of
Yeah.
their because they're trying to divide and conquer. People are just too stupid to fucking get along and work together towards the same common goals. Too stupid or too arrogant? I don't know.
Well, there has to be something of interest to them. They don't, you know, it's a value set as well. You know, if they were worried about things that were important, then that wouldn't be a problem. You know, you can get all kinds of volunteers for all kinds of stuff, you know, except for what's really important. You know, then it doesn't
Yeah,
seem to
why
happen.
is that? Why is that?
Well, they're not serious. They're not. Let's face it. The average person of today is not as serious as your forefather of 1776. There's no fucking way the people that are here now would have done jack shit like they did then. There's no way. So we've gotten soft, I guess is what I'm saying, and
There is way
immoral,
no too, and
uncaring. It's a combination of things. But yeah, you're just basically not going to do anything about anything. You're going to let it all happen. And nothing worth fighting for. Well, if you don't have a value set, that there's nothing worth fighting for. You don't have any values anyway. So why? What is there to fight for?
it's a good point.
No, I mean, kind of morality, politics, and religion all really do mix together. Yeah, there was something that came by there. Talk about something live, Tyler.
What?
We got any comments or suggestions coming in? I just saw something come by there. Let me just look at that.
Hold on. Not a hell of a lot.
What is that?
Hello from Tennessee. Well said, my brother. It's selfish what it is. Not much.
Huh.
Let's hit up our audience for suggestions.
Well, we did have some other topics that we wanted to talk about. Manchester, right?
Manchester. Yeah, what was the deal here? Let me get my cheat sheet. Damn, where was that? Oh, okay. Well, there was a couple of things. The father and the son got picked up a day or two ago in association with that Manchester bombing. You had, I believe, the dad had been contacted or was talking to MI6 people. He was at least on their on their radar. That much is known. But there's also this picture that came out on Fox News the other day of Hillary Clinton shaking this guy's hand and kind of propping him up as some kind of like big Libyan, like bright spot when he's really like the ISIS Al Qaeda contact down there. I mean, this guy had some contacts, man. That's what I guess is what I'm saying. I mean, it's not an accident this happened. Let's face it. Anytime Hillary Clinton's got something to do with something, there's dead bodies around, right?
Yeah.
Something's gone wrong and she had to kill him, or that's the cover up for the whole thing. Seth Rich, same thing, DNC. Oh, hell no, you don't want to look into that. The first thing you're going to do is, and what was he leaking? The fact that all this bullshit was going on with Sanders and the stealing of the primary and et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, all this ties together. It's all around the same people. So they're at the same, you got Debbie Wasserman Schultz threatening the DC police chief because they won't release a laptop associated with all this. At the same time, the Democrat National Committee is getting sued by Bernie Sanders donors, for fraud, for stealing the primary. I mean, what kind of scumbags do you have here, man? This is incredible. I mean, these are Democrats. I mean, this is what we're describing. This is what they do. But I mean, they've really gone to the next level, over the top bullshit on this one, man. So Manchester ties into Hillary, ties into DNC.
Yeah.
She's everywhere. There's something bad going on.
So while we're talking about a division, let's talk about the Democrat and Republican division here, because I see a lot of people in the United States hating each other, like families broken up, literally not talking to each other over the Democrat and Republican bullshit.
Well, yeah, they give you the fake, the two fake choices. That's what they give you. You know, it's just choice of that choice. They control both of them, so no matter which one you pick, you get pretty much the same result. That's the way they like it.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people
It's a,
saying the same things, the same arguments. Oh, the Democrats do this and blah blah blah, and then the Republicans do this and blah blah blah, and it's the same fucking things. Like, it's another divide and conquer tactic, and it's a massive one.
yeah. Most people are foolish enough to go along with it. They really think that, that's some topic they can get behind. I mean, and they suck in a lot of people. I mean, it doesn't take much. And if you say it enough on the media, it really is true. The more you say something, the more people will believe it. Pretty soon, they will even believe the lie. That's the propaganda special,
Yeah.
and they do it, and they prove that works. Yeah, my new saying now is that when I think I finally see what I see is that most people can be deceived all of the time.
Yeah.
And it's not just a partial thing anymore. It's like, no, they really have figured out how to do this every day of the week.
It's retarded. People need to fuck up.
Yeah, and
Well,
it's not that hard.
when are the people gonna realize that voting is not gonna change anything, and it never has, and it never will. You know, I mean, for real.
Yeah, it needs to stop. We can take care of ourselves, I'm sure. I mean, this country was founded on dirt and soil. We can get right back to there. Maintaining our own roads in front of our homes, taking care of our own things, our own land, resources, own, whatever.
Oh yeah, you know that. They know that. That's the problem. See, now you can't do that, can you? They know that that's a way out of the. Hey, you do it on your own. Oh well, all of a sudden, well, you can't do that, Gabe. You can't collect your rainwater. You can't plow that field. You can't run those cows. Sorry. You know. Oh, and you can't chop the trees down either. That's against the rules. So, other than that, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
And you
Exactly.
get, and what you get is a place like Oregon that's going down the crapper, who has a shrinking economy. They can't seem to figure out why, although it's everything they've done in the last 30 or 40 years to stifle the economy that they did have, which was pretty good. But no, 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 you can't have that.
That was one of the best
You know?
economies in Oregon, actually.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Burns
that
was
was
one of the wealthiest. Burns was one of the wealthiest towns in Oregon. It was a really nice town. And then when I was there, it was a shithole. And the military presence I saw there was absolutely insane. Like way, 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 way overkill. And that's our tax money. Anybody that's paying taxes, that was our tax money that went to that. So
oh yeah, well, they're just playing their tactics. They're just refining their game, so that every time they come back, they'll be hitting you with something new, a
yeah,
little more vicious every time.
we gotta keep refining our game and being a little more vicious every time too, and standing up, taking a stand. You know, we gotta play by their same rules. We're at war, and win some, and we're gonna lose some. But that's what it is. You know, people might not be dying so much, but we're at war. It's an intellectual war.
Well, we're at a power struggle with our own government, where we can't exercise our rights. Um, and if we do exercise our rights, we protest, we do everything the legit way. Yet not only are we bullied by the own system that we fund, it's like, why are we paying them? Why do we even give them our money? They're supposed to serve the people.
Right.
They don't serve.
Which,
They don't serve the
you know,
people. They only serve themselves and their own intellectual interests.
which goes back to our Constitution, which I'm gonna say again, I've said it before, but I have been amazed talking with people from all over the world who have heard the United States Constitution. That's, the way to be, because it gives the people the power over the government. And our own country is stripping that away. It's taking our constitutional rights away from us as fast as they can. It, it really comes down to the people. It comes down to the people standing up and making a difference and doing the right thing. There's not enough of us. There's really good people who are standing up and doing their best, but we really need to wake other people up, other Americans up, because when you're hearing from people from everywhere else in the world that are talking about the United States Constitution and supporting it, I mean, my mind was blown the first time. I was like, how the fuck do you know about the Constitution of the United States? You're living in some other country. And it's because the Constitution gives the rights of everything to the people. The people make the decisions, the people can defend themselves, and it's being stripped away.
Well, not only that, I believe technically, our Constitution is up in technically always God, what was the correct word for it, Preston? Since the 1850s. God, I can't think of the fucking word.
Well, the whole corporate move on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Like 1871,
Something
18,
something like that. It's always been
that
up.
was,
Yeah, it's always been up in the air.
that was, yeah, it might have been a few years earlier, but yeah, that was like the official, what do they call it? The Crown Bar Swiss contract. You can tell who your masters are if you look at the symbology on that one. It's the Vatican, the English, and the Swiss wrote up this new contract for you. Of the people, not for the people.
Well, it's the United Corporations of America,
Yeah. Yeah, there's now two constitutions. You have the original, and now you have this
Well,
one.
it's for profit,
Yeah, a for-profit corporation, called America. Well, that'd be okay if it really was. I mean, we're at such a minus now. Hey, being a plus, I mean, that'd actually be, that'd be great.
Well, actually, I'm not sure if it would be a good thing, because, like, if the government was for profit, then it would, which they already are. But I'm just saying, if they vocalized it like that, you would see
Yeah.
things a lot different.
Yeah, well, we have a system for the special people. America really is a caste system. Let's face it.
Yeah.
You have the elites, you have the next, rank, the puppets and the politicians, so forth, and then there's the others, and then the people on the street now, they're the untouchables. You don't even want to know about them. We just shuffle them off somewhere. You got about 3 or 4 different cast, excuse me, not class, cast in America, and that's where you're at. The Hillary Clintons and certain elites, they can steal money, make deals, get people killed. There's, total immunity. So there's that side of the American system. And then there's the other side, where you have the black boot on your face, and that's for the slaves. And you used to call them citizens, but they're slaves now. They don't know that yet, but we're still trying to wake them up. So you get a black boot in your face when you're down at that level. That's America. To me, that's what America is. I'm sorry. I mean, it's just an empire with a caste system. All right. We're beating up on other countries. Why? Because we can. It's a shitty reason, but that's the reason.
Yeah.
We want your stuff, and we're coming for it. And if we got to blow up 100, 200 people to get 2 bad guys, we're willing to do that, because that's what the good guys do. Isn't that right, Tyler?
Yep. Sorry, what did you say?
That's America. I'm sorry, that's America.
That's a sad truth. It's a fucking sad truth. We're supposed to be for the people, by the people, or by the people, for the people, whatever. That's what we're supposed to be. And well, what can we do about this? Besides raise awareness and fight it any way we can. People really need to get together under one cause, make a difference. And I don't see that happening. I don't.
No, you see an example maybe of something that could get that big, like a Standing Rock. There's a critical mass of people there who, if you got them heading a certain direction, hell, that's a whole army, man. You could do some damage. But when you don't necessarily have the best leadership or refined direction, well, but that's an example.
And it really seems like
yeah.
a lot of these leaders are being led towards greed, towards profit. They're being strayed from their original intent to do good for the people, and they start getting a little bit of money in their pockets and donations or whatever, and they totally lose focus. It's sad.
Well, yeah. Look at a guy now, because I follow the right wing and the Tea Party stuff. You got this guy Justin Amash, who was a big Tea Party favorite. Sure talked the line. Has done some good things. Who is now apparently supporting Trump being impeached. It's incredible. It's just like you wonder who got to this guy, or how much money he was paid to go along with this, because it makes it in no way looks like anything that he's done before. So yeah, so money talks, right?
Yep.
Why else would you do that? Or a Marco Rubio, look what a schwanz he turned into. He was another Tea Party darling. What a piece of crap.
It's all ego or
just bought off.
If you got enough money where it doesn't matter, then it's ego. And again, that's something that I see a lot with the whole division thing. A lot of little people get big egos and stray off in their own direction and stop working with other people.
Yeah.
So We need to pull our shit together as a species, as humans. We need to pull our shit together and work together towards the same common goals. And I know everybody has those same common goals of humanity, betterment of the planet, and betterment of whatever, But we need to take care of the planet. We need to take care of the people first, and then start, working towards our own agendas and let everybody else decide where that goes. But we need to focus on working towards taking care of our planet and taking care of the people on the planet after that. And then we can work on, whatever anybody else's ideas and ideals are.
Yeah. I've always been a big advocate of, trying to, dismantle, or get rid of the central banks, but then you're supporting a system that's already broken, You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Supporting the central bank?
Well, no. I'm saying, the whole central banks and how they control the money flow, with our own country. It's tied into the Internal Revenue Service. So when you're paying the IRS, it's going back to the Federal Reserve. There's absolutely no reason why an outside entity should be printing our own money and making us pay for it as well. You know,
No, I mean that's how stupid we are.
yeah,
I mean, there's no reason. All they're doing is printing money. Hell, the printing office can do that. Why would anybody in their right mind give that function over to a bunch of rich bankers because they say they want it? Woodrow Wilson was one of the biggest traders this country has ever seen. He really is. He signed that shit, and all the collaborators that went along. I mean, shameful. But this is the kind of people you got for. This is what we call leadership. It's misleadership, is what it is.
yeah.
Especially here lately. Not leaders. They're not leaders.
They're
They're
sellouts.
political schwanzes.
They're sellouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always
And you
chasing.
just
They're,
keep
they're, they're
seeing
always
it.
they're always chasing the money trail and bowing down to their bowing down to the elite. Oh yeah. Well, I'll say whatever the fuck you want. Just hand me another fucking check.
Yeah. So you get some chucklehead like a McCain or McConnell or Paul Ryan, who for what, $500,000 you can literally turn into your own puppet. I don't know that it would even take that much.
No.
But that's who these
He
people are.
talks about
They will sell their country out for small amounts of money. See, to me, that's a small amount of money. Even if you're in the millions, it's like, hey, wait a minute. I mean, that is just, you don't sell out your country for that. I mean, that's ridiculous. Come on.
yeah, you
But they will. They'll do it every day of the week.
McCain and McConnell. You're not talking about Mark McConnell, are you?
No, Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, John McCain. Yeah, no, this is political.
I know Mark McConnell sold his own people out for a
Well, yeah, he's a great politician.
Rubicon.
Yeah, man. I mean, your countrymen will do it to you, Gabe. You know how many were down there, so crunch those numbers. It's not very good. It's not a very good picture of what
No, it's
your
not.
your countrymen have turned into.
It's overwhelming.
Whatever.
It's overwhelming, actually. The numbers.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So if that's your, plug all those numbers into your equation there, and see if you can come out with any kind of reasonable outcome. Fuck.
well, then I guess we should have our own currency.
Well, yeah,
We need to.
if we do have our own currency, you're going to see a couple of things happen immediately, though. You're going to get what's known as, everybody freaks out. Um, players saying that you get that freak out effect in the initial stages, but over the long period, if the money is managed correctly, if systems are set in place the right way over 5 years, 10 years, it could stabilize. But you're going to see a big drop in a lot of things initially. But that's already going to happen the way that things are set up. The U.S. dollar is going to collapse on itself eventually.
Yeah, do you want them to collapse on their terms
It's going to happen
on
eventually.
a day they choose, or
Yeah.
do you want to collapse it and collapse them along with it? Because it's not going to be that bad. Look, they said all that shit to Iceland too, and none of it happened because it's all bullshit, man. If you take away these guys' money, there's more for everybody else. That's all there is to it. They're stealing most of it.
It's all bullshit, anyways. It's bullshit
Yeah,
fucking
it's that.
money. It's bullshit fucking money. It's bullshit funds. There's no silver or gold backed anything, and that's bullshit. You put a
It's
value on something, and people are gonna say, "Hey, that's valuable." Like, people are sheep. They're fucking sheep. We're all sheep. I'm working my ass off for fucking the paper that kind of pay my bills. So, and
well,
that's that's
why is it that Iceland can do it and nobody else can't? Why is that?
I don't know. A lot of people say
Uh,
it's because I think Iceland has a population of like 300,000, and people were saying that the military, they don't have a military like ours. But I'm like, well, if they had
that's
ever,
not.
and
Yeah,
I'm like, but like, you think about it, would you really think the U.S. military is really going to go after, say it's 3 million people, trying to change it, trying to change the system all at the same time? I don't really think. I don't think that it's going to become, you know, you know, uh, situation where the U.S. military is actually firing on its own people. I,
it has.
well,
It has.
I disagree there, but
it might.
because this government is pretty jaded, man.
It's true. True. True.
They
True.
got you got quite a few examples of that. But no, I
Yeah,
think it's
it
more
has.
a conviction. It's like those people realize the problem, and they don't want the stealing bankers to be there anymore. Not the ones that were there, and they get rid of them. It's, I mean, that is the solution. I don't know, it's not that hard. That's the key to this. But if you're corrupt and really craven and jaded, like this government is, apparently it's real hard, you know, because if banks get too big, we can't jail them, and they're too big to jail, too big to fail, too big to bail. I mean, they're just free to do whatever they want to do, man. They just got immunity now and do whatever the hell they want.
Which is what they
And
do.
it's just cops don't do nothing. All this law enforcement. Where are they? You got all these criminals.
Like
It's obvious. They're on TV every day.
we were
A lot
just
of them work
talking.
for the government. What?
We were just talking about Blue Well. Like we've had
Yeah.
none of those fuckers arrested. None. And they are taking lives. They're taking kids' lives.
Yep.
And we have had none of them arrested.
Well, the creator though.
Besides him. And he's got fucking copycats going on, keeping it alive. So we really need to step up our game as one people and fight all this evil fucking shit that's going on, or we're doomed as a species. And I would really like to feel like I personally would really like to feel like there was a lot more people on board the good that we're trying to do instead of the evil that's going on in the fucking world. And really, there's not that many of us. There isn't. There's a small few people that are trying to make a difference to help the world and the people in it, and not a lot of people that care otherwise. So we really need to step up our game, or we're gonna sink into some nasty, nasty, nasty shit. Kids are gonna die. The government's gonna smash any opposition, and we're gonna be 100% controlled. And that's really the way it's gonna be. If there's not more of us, like the people here, like our audience, like the people that really care, that are trying to make a difference, we're gonna fail. We're gonna fail and die. And yeah, if there's not more people willing to stand up and be loud and be unafraid of feds coming down on us, or whatever, then we're fucked. And that's the way it is.
Well, that's the kind of tactics that we commonly see when you try to exercise your rights. Keep us in fear mode.
And that's exactly it, too. Keep people afraid. Keep people too afraid to stand up and be loud and speak their fucking mind and try to do the right thing. If they try to terrorize us into being submissive and quiet, then we're fucked as a species. The world is fucked. Everything is fucked. We really need to stand our ground and show them that they can't do the things that they're doing to us. You can't throw somebody in prison forever for if they're not doing anything wrong to harm other people. And that's basically what it comes down to. We're way too divided over stupid shit, and the people that are trying to make a stand and trying to do good things are getting shut down and thrown in prison. People as a whole need to stand up if they care. And if they don't, then fuck it. If nobody else cares and we're fighting a losing battle, So I don't know.
Let me see what's going on.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't look like we're going to be able to build any starships and get out of here with the kind of elitist jackasses when they steal everything and fuck everything up. You know, that's not a plan that's going to
They're
get anybody
fucking
to the
themselves
stars,
and their
including
families.
themselves, in case they haven't figured it out.
Yeah, they're fucking themselves and their families too. Their loved ones, their
It's
children.
funny, man. Yeah, it's
It's
hilarious.
not
Man.
funny. It's not because they're they're destroying everything with no regards to anybody but themselves.
Oh, that's the plan. You know. You know.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
do. I also know
You know, they believe in a depopulation agenda, a total world domination. They believe that you know, they are the illuminated ones, and you know the concepts that they have for you know, the new world order is not something new. This is like a you know, this concept's been around for, I think, for well over 300 years. You know, total world domination. Not that they already don't have it, but it would be more apparent, you know, if it's you know, it's gone worldwide. I mean, but you know, as we see in Europe, you know, it's fucking falling apart.
it's not sustainable. I mean, it's sustainable for like a certain percentage of people for so long, but it's not a sustainable idea.
No, it's not.
No, but they've. Well, it is what it is, man. And I just don't see it changing. Sorry. Just look at the landscape around. It's like, okay.
Well, yeah, I know. You know. Oh, there we go. My internet just hiccuped. Ah, there we go.
Uh,
Hold on. Did we?
I was just going to go check, and
Yeah, my internet just hiccuped. Hold on.
you
That
can
was
still check.
really weird. That was so bizarre.
What's up?
Oh, it just hiccuped. The upload.
Yep, same pattern.
I was like, I didn't show any violent videos. I don't think I did.
I'm still running.
Oh, that was so weird. Like, remember, it was just it cut off. It cut off and it was like zero upload. But I was checking my network monitor and everything's fine. So I'm like, okay, this is a Facebook issue. And you know, I tried from that one place I go to, and I tried from another, and I was like, okay, Facebook, what's going on?
You can only badmouth Facebook so many times it really mess with you.
Oh, you know what's really weird?
Part of,
Oh, you know what's really
part of their
weird?
AI.
You know what's really weird is I checked out today. I saw a Facebook sponsored ad today of Mark Zuckerberg over at Harvard and giving a speech. And apparently, this was the most bizarre thing: is that my profile had automatically liked Facebook's profile at Facebook, and I was like, I don't ever remember liking that. And I was just like, wait a second. So, like, when you open up a Facebook account, whether you like it or not, it automatically likes Facebook at Facebook. I was like, isn't that cheating a little bit? Like,
That's sick. You talk about yes men wanting to make everybody yes men. That's a great example there.
Look, I don't ever remember putting a lot.
Ask you, you're just a yes man. Because if you're not, we're going to start jacking with your streams, and if you talk any shit, we'll just delete your account. How about that?
Yeah, Facebook. It has 187 million
Yeah.
likes. Apparently, my profile has liked at Facebook. Let me see. Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg. Facebook feeling inspired with Mark Zuckerberg when he's talking at with all of his Illuminati friends over at Harvard. Just funny.
He's such a Madison Avenue puppet, man. I mean, that guy makes me sick. Get away with calling their customers dumb effers and get away with it.
Yeah, he's fake as fuck.
That's just,
He's fake as fuck.
I mean, come on, nobody does that. Yeah. A good business owner loves his customers. It's all about having customers, right? But oh no, not these guys, man. It's all a scam the whole time anyway. So, hey, fuck, if we piss off 1 million or 2 here, who gives a shit, right? You know, they don't even care, man.
You were telling me also from this new Facebook admin thing that the really, we're seeing this in the non-communities within the last few weeks, where we saw massive account deletions in November, December, and now we're seeing you told me UK profiles were hit pretty bad, right?
Yeah, I mean, you look at what they did to Alex Jones. Let's say, they shut down 5 million of his advertising
Let me see.
and his money. Well, hey, that's advertising money they don't get. But Google is so big, or AdRoll, third party. Oh, fuck them. Hey, we got a political agenda here, and we're cutting this guy off, so they don't even care. They can make some other deal. If it ever does come to where it's hurting them, they can always make some deal with the government. Yeah, it's no big deal. It's gotten too easy. The censorship has gotten too easy, and nobody even blinks an eye at it anymore. It's like, oh yeah, oh well, they shut down your account. Oh okay, oh.
Speaking of which, I'm seeing, I see a lot of censorship. Because I follow, RT. I see it a lot with them. Especially when you do the Rupley videos.
Oh yeah, well they were outed in some committee here. It was a month or so ago, but they were named as essentially Russian proxies. Not an intelligence service, but like media services. Just straight up call them out. That's to bend the moisture of this whole Russian narrative, which is total bullshit. That's when they threw InfoWars in there. I mean, it's just like, to make it sound like AJ's a Russian agent. I mean, it's just like, holy shit. Talk about a conspiracy theory, man. It's something else.
I was going to say, is this a fake Alex Jones page? Let me see, InfoWars. Yeah, this has to be a real one. How many likes does it have? I can't even tell. What the fuck?
So see, it's not even about, you could argue the same thing, like, since all these papers that are having all these problems. Well, if you weren't pushing your leftist mainstream media garbage, maybe you'd have your newspaper, right? But no, you have to, you do some good things for sure, but then this other agenda that you push pisses everybody off. You don't even have advertisers anymore. It's like, hey, you don't have a circulation, So they do it to themselves. They don't even get it. They don't care.
No, for sure. I'm gonna laugh when Facebook flops and Zuckerberg becomes a crackhead.
Find him and Tom. He and Tom will be on Skid Row and talking about the good old days when they were the kings of their shit. Whatever.
Hi, I lost all my fucking money. He has a stupid crazy look on him. I don't know. Whenever he talks, it's like I can't laugh, but just say like either you're fucking like brainwashed or you're fucking like crazy Looney Tunes. he always he talk. I don't know. He has this. Zuckerberg has this fucking deranged look on his face.
Oh yeah, yeah. He thinks he's got it all figured out. Thinks he's telling you something now, and he tells you some bullshit. Yeah. And hey, Tyler. Yeah, you're gonna have to log into Facebook to get to the internet. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Oh. You're like, yeah, shut up, man.
You're fucking.
Just shut the fuck up, man.
Watch as we get all of our accounts get dismantled.
Yeah, I gotta watch it. I'm getting overboard here. Oh please, Mark Zuckerberg, don't do it. I'm sorry, I take it back. I didn't mean it.
Oh man.
I'll do a quick poll, Tyler. Would you, if you were forced to log into Facebook to get to the internet, would you do it?
Absolutely not.
No, that's where you draw the line. You're not gonna do that. All
I
right,
always
good man.
weasel my way to,
Yeah, you find a way around that
find
shit.
a way around that shit. All right, guys, it's gonna be a long way. Not it. Not any real.
Well, the life of a Madison Avenue puppet. We'll never know, Tyler, but we'll just have to keep on top of Mark Zuckerberg. Just watch. We'll just have to keep notes on how it's done.
Well, this is not going to end until the majority of people move off of Facebook, and yet I think there's like 2 billion. I thought there was 5 billion users, right?
No,
2 billion.
2 sounds about right. Maybe 1.5.
Yeah. But until
it's a lot of the population of the planet.
Yeah, it is. Now, are all those accounts real, or is he doing the same thing? Like when he adds you to his like for his account and all the rest of it. It's like, is there something else going on there? It's really just a bunch of Facebook socks that aren't real.
Well, I was surprised that my profile had liked his stuff. I'm like, I don't ever remember liking Mark Zuckerberg's shit or Facebook shit.
Why, of course you do, Tyler. Now, come on. You remember when you did that?
No, I don't. I'm serious.
Come on.
Let me see if Mark Zuckerberg.
You like Mark Zuckerberg. That button because you wanted to.
I do a lot of stuff like that. Just more other shit. I can join a lot of groups just so I can see what they're doing and stuff. So it's not too far out there.
No, it's not set on follow, but he does have that weird verified account thing going on. Only Facebook staff got that shit.
A lot of people do follow him, though. I mean, he's got a good following. There's no doubt about that.
90 million, 90.8 million followers. Let me see if Tom from Facebook is on here. Tom.
He's a Facebook.
Sorry,
god.
Tom, MySpace. Tom Myers. Hold on. I doubt it. Nah.
You would have heard about that somewhere.
Yeah. Nah.
Does Zuckerberg use Twitter or vice versa? All these guys on their platforms, do they crosstalk?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure they do.
I mean, other than at Bohemian Grove or at Bilderberg or something, do they ever crosstalk with?
Yeah, they're probably right there. Teaming up with each other. That's it. So
Yeah, what are they calling it now? The Silicon Valley Mafia? That's about what it's turned into.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Any questions from our viewers? Nope, only
I don't know.
five viewers.
Oh,
Oh.
man.
So I told you we should have done a documentary.
I bet if you ran well, it wouldn't be a documentary, but if you just was a cat like rolling around the floor, something real fluffy cat.
You
probably get a. Yeah.
I actually got mad. You ever heard of that meme? That 10 hours of the Jazz Man, right? The Jazz Man.
Mm-mm.
Oh my
No.
God! It's like the cat video, the 10-hour cat video, and so they had there was this one page. It was called memes or some meme page, and it had like 800,000 followers or some insane amount. I'm like, God, what the fuck? How does this thing have 8 million 8 million followers? I was like, what the fuck? Or 800,000. I was like, what the fuck? And so I'm looking on there, and they have a loop video on from similar software prior to what we're using, and it was just like the tower video of it was God, it was you know, that guy from the Grey Wizard from Lord of the Rings, and he's just bouncing his head upside down, around, and with that music playing in the background. They had 800 people watching it. I'm like, okay, this is. I was like, fuck.
Something's wrong, man.
So we're doing something.
Something is real wrong. I mean, and you just hear this over and over. Everybody says it. It's like, how is that possible?
Because people like dumb shit. I'm sorry.
I don't know. It blows me away.
You know who else has a viral page is that tranny who does the weird shit with a towel on his head. God, he's got 8 million followers. He's got 8 million. You know, the one that does the weird shit and does the crazy.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, he crawls around on the floor and acts like he's like possessed and shit. Yeah. He's got like 8 million followers. I don't know.
Yeah, it's. I don't get it. Well, I mean, or that is just proof of how powerful their AI computer is, that it can shovel that many viewers and users.
I guarantee you that kid.
To shit like that, you know.
That kid didn't pay for those ads. The kid, I wonder if Facebook did a boost on him just for the hell of it. You know, like, hey, man.
Yeah, just to prove, hey, we can make the dumbest shit the most popular. We could take down the biggest story and make it, flush it down the commode in the media hole, the media blackout,
And just watch the crazy kid with the towel on his head. Some weird shit.
Yeah. It's like they can do it. Well, come on, they're taking all these accounts down, all this activity. Some of it's political, or it's just like, okay, you're anonymous activities, whatever's going on there. But yeah, I mean, they're flat getting caught, shutting down thousands of them. Well, that was another English story of them shutting down, I think it was 3,000 or 4,000 accounts in England that were politically related, trying to sway the election over there.
Yeah.
So they're not bullshitting around. They figured out, hey, we can do this. We can skew it a little bit. Hey, no problem. No ethical problem there.
Yeah, Twitter isn't any better either.
No, they admit it. All these companies are all bought off somehow. I don't even think you get to the point of having an app or getting it on probably, the Apple platform or any of it unless you're plugged into the game somehow and go along with the shit.
You have
You know,
to
you
yeah,
just-
you have to sell out to the elite, like, hey man, I got this really cool code, and I'd like to make it mass, so everybody has to view the internet through it, and you could probably use this for world domination. Oh yeah. Here's a couple $1 billion.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to know how to approach them the right way. You make it clear you're willing to sell out for money. Oh, okay. Hey, somebody we can do business with, right? Shit.
Oh my god.
Well, you still have that hour documentary we're going to run, or
I don't have enough time to run it because I'm kind of limited to. It's an hour and 35 minutes, and I only have an hour and 10 minutes. So
damn.
I would love to show it, but I might have to save it for a rainy day.
Run it until it dies. Don't get fucked.
You going to sleep?
Me?
Fuck yeah.
That's how Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been up on a roof killing myself all day.
Is
Well-
it finally warming up there?
Yeah, it's getting hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys had snow out there not too long ago, right? In like May?
Oh yeah, there's still snow just right up the mountain. I'm
Golly.
up in the hills pretty well. All right, well, love you, family. I'm peacing out.
All right, later.
All right.
Yeah, we might have to end it in like 10 minutes. I can't.
Uh, yeah, might be time to
Get the ball rolling.
call it quits.
Call
Yeah,
it quits. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, me too. All right.
You did
fam.
pretty good here.
Yeah, we did pretty good. Yeah. All right, fam. Good night. We'll run out with some, exit credits, and kind of good timing because my internet is hiccuping again. I'm serious. All right, man. We'll roll out with the exit credits, and we'll get out of here. All right.
All right, we'll see you guys. Thanks, Tyler.
All right, later.
I hereby declare this to be a